Hey kids, welcome back to National Geographic's Insects. They're pretty neat. We're at Texas Tech University today to talk to a bunch of insect experts about crickets, and they're going to give us a bunch of cool facts, so let's head on this way. Oh, look! My good friend Professor Hansen is here. Professor, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Sonny.
Professor Hansen is a specialist in cricket anatomy, and he's going to be telling us about cricket anatomy. I happen to find this little dude in the grass over yonder, and so we're going to use him as a learning tool. You ready to go, Professor? Looks like you brought a fact sheet.
I did. Firstly, crickets fall under the order Orthoptera, which means they are elongated. Crickets have enlarged hind wings. Crickets have two compound eyes, which help them see where they are going at night. Crickets have three ocelli on their foreheads. Crickets have a trapezoidal, which is very robust. Crickets also have some blood. At the end of the abdomen, crickets have a pair of long circi. Female crickets have an ovipositor, which is cylindrical and smooth and shiny. The back pair of legs on crickets are enlarged, which allow them to jump great lengths. Crickets have tympanies on their legs. These are found in their tibiae. These are used for hearing. And lastly, crickets have spiracles on their bodies that allow them to take in oxygen.
Wow, that's pretty neat. I didn't know there was so much to learn about crickets. Thank you so much, Professor Hansen.
No problem.
Oh, hey kids, look! It's my good friend, Professor Kimsey. How are you doing today, sir?
Good, how are you doing, Sonny?
Good, thanks for asking. So, Professor Kimsey is a specialist in cricket taxonomy. Professor, it looks like you have a fact sheet prepared. What can you tell us about cricket taxonomy?
Well, Sonny, did you know crickets are part of the kingdom Animalia in the phylum Arthropoda?
I did not know that.
Crickets are in the class Insecta. They're also in the order Orthoptera. Crickets fall under the suborder Encephora.
Okay.
Encephora means long horn.
Oh,
True crickets fall under the family Grillidae.
okay.
These include tree crickets, field crickets, and ground crickets.
Awesome. That's pretty neat. Thanks, Professor. With Professor Wood. Professor Wood is a specialist in cricket sound production. How are you doing today, Professor?
Good.
Awesome. So, looks like Professor Wood has a couple of facts on his fact sheet for us. Professor, what can you tell us about cricket sound production?
Yeah, so crickets actually do this process called stridulation, and it's basically rubbing one body part against another, specifically their scraper, their forewing, or their file, the hind wing or the leg, and only the males chirp.
Oh, interesting. Why do crickets chirp, Professor?
Well, the sound is used by the males to basically attract females to mate with.
Wow, that's pretty neat. Thank you, Professor.
Oh, thank you.
Hey guys, back at it again. This is my friend, Professor Denton Shaw. He is an expert in the life cycle of crickets, and he's also going to tell us a lot more about crickets as well. How are you doing today, Professor?
I'm good, Sonny. How about yourself? Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, for sure. So, Professor, what can you tell us about the life cycle of crickets?
So, a few things about crickets. Crickets are hemimetabolous.
Okay.
This also means they develop from the stages egg, nymph, adult.
Okay.
This also means that the nymph and adult stages are very similar and share similar habitats.
Wow.
And the sharing of similar habitats causes competition between these two stages.
Wow. Huh. I also heard that crickets are an agricultural pest. What can you tell me about that?
Yes, Sonny. Crickets are in the order Orthoptera, which is considered to be one of the major crop pest orders.
Okay.
A great example of this is the mole cricket. And also, mole crickets have shovel-like forelegs to burrow in soil where they sever roots of grass and other plants.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty neat. Thanks a lot, Professor Shaw.
Yes, Sonny. Great having you on the
Yeah.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, for
Take
sure.
care, man.
Thank you. Alright guys, well, I guess that's it for our episode of Insects. That's pretty neat. I'm Sonny Pham, and we'll see you next week.